Kakinalan hipik kasukuin. Kakinalin hipi kasukuin. Hi, I'm Debra Sanchez. I'm a faculty member with American Indian Studies. Haku Shakswal kuko kakti smuich, wela sanchi kakti English, keti pawilis. The language I'm translating today is Smuich. It's one of the Chumash languages, the native people from coastal California. And my particular family comes from the island of Limu, which is also now called Santa Cruz Island. Yes, and the phrase, I appreciate and respect you, the root word for respect also can translate into a person that's polite or courteous. And I think too for us that's a sign of being humble in our ways. Yes, I think it's important to use our language every opportunity. Everywhere that I go, anytime I introduce myself, I use my language. I tell people, Haku, kaksuale helkuko, kakti smuich, wela kakti sanchi, kakti English, kapane shumulok, swahil nakalamo hilimu. And then I tell them that my name in Chumash is She Loves the People. My name in English is Debra Sanchez. That the ancestral village that I come from is Swahil on the island of Limu. It is very rare to hear it. Our last native language speaker died in 1965. I've been studying the language since 2002, but really poured my efforts into it in 2008. So there's very few people that can converse with me, so a lot of times I converse with myself. I record myself and then I listen, I create songs, I teach the language, and I'm hoping to get more people to speak the language. And it can be difficult at times because some of the sentiments we have are rooted in nature. A lot of our words are rooted in nature and in the sounds of nature and animals and everything that's around us. And so, for example, friend in English sounds kind of mundane, but in our language, ichantik means fellow spirit. And so fellow spirit is a friend. I started studying in the 2000s after my mom and my uncle went to a course at Berkeley, which was trying to help preserve native languages. And they showed us some very basic, brought our whole family together, showed us some basics, and I never forgot that. But in 2008, I think I was looking for something to dedicate my life to, something that would move the people forward, and I prayed about it. And so the answer came back to me was to learn the language, and that was what I did to the best of my ability. Well, it's very rarely used, and the reason I say that is because our last native speaker died in 1965. I've studied the language so much that I'm probably one of the very less than a handful of people that can speak the language to my level. My family does know some of the language, but to have a regular conversation, a lot of times I have to record myself and listen to it, and then sometimes I respond to myself. Oh, I think it's extremely important. I think for a lot of native language speakers who lost their language, there's a calling, and I think it's like when the ancestors whisper in your ear. And I prayed for something to devote myself to, and the language came up. And I remember listening to old recordings that I couldn't understand at all, and now I translate them for people. And I think it's important to create the traditions and it's important for me to speak the language, because what happens is it also expands the culture. It also expands our point of view. It also expands our way of looking at things and takes us out of English. Oh yeah, the language means everything to me. I feel emotional about it. I think the reason it's so important is because of the near genocide that happened in California. Not only did we lose our language, but our ways of being, our land, and the trajectory of our people was changed in the most horrific ways. And so whatever we can bring back in terms of the language, it also helps expand the culture, our ways of understanding the world, because it was different from the people that came to this land. And so I think that it's transformative in the sense that our people can understand that we don't have to fit in to these ways of being and these ways of looking at the world that are not ours.